Hello, everyone. Joe Gentili from Saroff Gentili LLP. I want to go through some steps that your lawyer should be taking if you reach out to them to do a mandamus case, or if you want them to evaluate whether a mandamus case is appropriate for you. So the steps I'm going to lay out are pretty basic, and the reason I'm laying them out is because I want you to see kind of what lawyers looking at or what they should be going through before they file a case for you, and also to give you some red flags that if an attorney is not going through these steps, that should give you a little bit of pause as to whether you're dealing with somebody that you should hire. So the first thing, and this is pretty obvious, I think, they should be gauging whether your case is viable or not. So they want to look at, the delay that you're facing. Is the delay reasonable or unreasonable? What kind of harm is it causing you? How does it compare to the normal processing times? Are there any statutes that deal with the type of immigration benefit that you're looking for that says the government gets, a specific period of time? Basically, you want to see if you have a case worth filing. So if a lawyer is not evaluating that and they're jumping straight to let's file a case and send you a bill without even kind of going through the steps to see what odds of success the case has, that's not a good sign. So number two, you want to be seeing if the attorney is doing some sort of analysis as to where the best place to file your case is. What's the best venue? Not always, but a lot of times you have multiple options as to where to file your case. So for instance, if you live in New York City, and your case is being processed at a particular service center, let's say the Texas Service Center, and it's being handled by an agency that's headquartered in Maryland, you have arguments as to whether you could file your case in New York, Texas, Maryland, and the lawyer should be engaging in some sort of analysis or pros and cons of the various options there. So you want to see if a lawyer is not really thinking about venue, if you're asking about it and they don't really seem to understand the concept, or that could affect the outcome of it could affect the outcome of the case depending on where you file it. They're probably not that savvy about litigation, and maybe you want to look elsewhere. You're going to want to see if the lawyer is giving you realistic expectations as to what the process is going to look like and what a victory looks like if the case works. So they're going to want to be taking you through the steps of filing the complaint, serving the complaint, how long the government has to respond, what are the potential outcomes when the government does respond. You want to see that they're going to be taking you through what a case victory looks like. Does it look like you got an interview? Does it look like you got a final decision? Does it look like you got a final decision on some of your petitions, but not all of them? You're going to want to go through that. You're going to want to have somebody walk you through that analysis intelligently. Along the same vein, you want them to be able to walk you through the risks and downsides. What are some scenarios where this doesn't work out? What does it look like if you lose the case? Some analysis as to what it looks like if you get a decision, but it's a negative decision. You just want somebody to be able to walk you through the different permutations as to what can happen. This way, when you file a case, it's eyes open, you know what you're getting into. And if things don't work out, you have some sort of game plan or some sort of idea of what you're going to do in that scenario. Hopefully when you file a case, of course, you're hoping for the best case scenario. You're hoping it works out. And these cases do work out most of the time, but you do want to be aware at least of some downside potentials. You're going to want to have somebody walk you through pretty clearly what the fees and expenses are going to be to file the case. You're going to want to see that backed up in writing in a retainer that lays out this is how much the case is going to cost. These are going to be the expenses with it, or at least the ballpark expenses, because they're not easy a lot of times to figure out ahead of time to the dollar. You're going to want to know what the fees could be if the case continues beyond a certain point. Basically, you're going to want to know what you're getting into. It's the attorney should want you to have no surprises as well. Everybody should be on the same page as to what what things are going to cost. And you're going to want to see that the attorney listens to your story, that they're interested in any hardship that it's causing you. You're going to want to see that they want to see the documents that you have that back up your story. So they're going to want to see your filing receipts. They're going to want to see any evidence that you have of communicating with the government. If you got a hardship that can be proven with documentation, if you have documentation with that, you want to see the lawyer cares. If any of these things aren't present, if the lawyer looks like they're not really that familiar with the litigation process, they're not that interested in the potential outcome of the case, they're only interested in you paying them. If they're just glossing over downsides as if there are no potential downsides, if they're guaranteeing victory, if they're showing like they really just don't care about you, they just care about getting paid, not good signs. You probably want to look elsewhere. So that's really the reason that I'm laying out these steps. I just want to give you some indicators to consider when evaluating whether an attorney A knows what they're doing, and B, if they know what they're doing, they actually care what happens to you. So as always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And if this video is useful, I encourage you to subscribe. Thanks. Bye.